Oh yeah, sexy biscuits. Nice.
Long Boy Blues, 1975. A YouTuber is on the rise. Reviewing games late at night and sometimes friends used to bug him. Long Boys Blues, 1975.
Hey YouTube, Longboy's Post from 1975, and welcome to the Wednesday vlog. You've read the title, something a little bit different this Wednesday, taking a slight break from the top 10 videos, mainly because I've had 4 hours sleep because I had to go to the chiropractor to fix my fucked shoulder, and so, you know, I haven't got the time because I'm lazy, believe it or not. As long as those videos take to edit, and I know they don't look like they do because the production's crap, but they do. I actually make them on a Wednesday. I don't know why I don't just make them before, make them live on a Wednesday, but that's how I work. Boring random fact, lying on the floor with your face down through a hole in a table, looking at the carpet while someone beats the living shit out of your shoulder and your back, it's really quite liberating. Anyway, you've read the topic. I think it's safe to say that most people know about what's going on with this, but that's why I want to talk about it, because it's interesting that it still becomes like a topic in social media every time it happens. But yeah, YouTube deletes inactive accounts. The sky is falling. So I got back from work yesterday morning, and I was on my computer. I was actually answering comments on YouTube, and I went to the bathroom to do my business as you do in the bathroom. I don't know what you do in your bathroom. And then when I came back, I noticed that I lost 100 subscribers. My first thought was, holy shit, what did I eat? And then my second thought was, oh, it must be, you know, culling inactive accounts. I don't know, maybe it would be in Google's interest to announce this, if only because the fact that people react so worriedly to it, you know, and like it's a really, really big deal. But yeah, the reason I'm talking about it, because I've talked about this before, is then obviously social media, Twitter and Facebook lights up like, you know, like bonfire night. People are just going, I've just lost this many subs. Shit, what's happening? I've just lost this many subs. Shit, what's happening? And it's like, well, it's obviously, if you lose a substantial amount of subs in one shot, then it's a cull. YouTube's culling inactive accounts, which makes perfect sense because it's right. They make money off it, but ultimately, to people like myself, it's a free service. So if someone's not using these things or haven't used these things, you know, for like a year or so or 18 months, I don't know what the cutoff point is, or, you know, and let's not even go on to the fact that there'll be spam and bot accounts out there. But if someone's not used it, then why would they leave them there eating up space, you know, on their infrastructure? Of course they're gonna blad it out, but people then, not everyone obviously, then there's this thing where people seem to get really, really upset about it, which is, damn, I worked hard for those, you know, subs, why should they remove them? And it's like, well, because they're not subs, they don't exist. The fact that they were still a number, and that there was an account, doesn't make them, you know, a valid viewer. You know, if an account hasn't been used for God knows how long, then it's nothing. It's, you know, it's by the way. It serves no purpose. It's an invalid statistic. I don't, like, it's human nature to be, it is to be proud of stuff, and the higher a number goes, we're always taught that, you know, success is a good thing, so the higher the number goes, the more successful you are. But I really, you know, I just don't understand that every time this happens, it causes such a big deal, and that people don't seem to remember that it's a regular thing. Don't get me wrong, right? I've been on it for 5 years. The first time it happened, I was like, what the fuck? And then, you know, I found out that it was culling of inactive accounts. Then every time since then, I've lost a certain amount of subs immediately. I just go, no, they're culling inactive accounts. Brilliant. I want that number to be accurate. You know, that number ultimately is what is your feedback for how well you're doing, and, you know, it's inputs into what you could do better, what maybe you should stop doing, you know, worse. But to these people who say, but I want that number to stay there because I earned them, whether they're there or not anymore, I've earned them. But I always say, well, it's like, I don't know, if you're an actor and you play to the audience, in order to know how well you performed, you know, whether you should improve your performance the next night, you know, in theatre. Would you rather know how many empty seats there were, or would you rather they just told you full house, mate? Full house. You're absolutely brilliant. I for one, think that the growth can only be achieved, you know, if you have an accurate representation in that number of how well you're doing at any one time, and inactive accounts are not that. And then to some degree, the other side of it is, if you did lose a lot of accounts in one go, and it was genuine, it was people unsubscribing from your channel, then that's no reason to be upset either. That's human nature. People, you know, won't necessarily like the same thing forever. How many TV shows have you given up on? I gave up on The Walking Dead after 4 seasons because I just went, this is shit now. You can't say, well, no, I'm losing subs, I'm losing subs. That's not a bad thing. That's a positive thing. If you're losing subs, then look at it, you know, if you generally are doing this to be creative and express yourself and your hobby and have fun, then look at possibly why you're doing it. Use it as a tool to progress forward. Don't use it as a reason to be upset and, you know, and sulk, because that's not productive and that won't achieve anything. But anyway, yeah, just a quick little vlog, which is, are you as surprised as me that every time there is a cull of inactive accounts, that everyone runs around like the sky is falling, like it's the end of the world? I mean, as I said, it's part and parcel of human nature to some degree to want to, you know, be the best that you can and be successful and achieve stuff. But at the end of the day, that number of anything in life, if you want to regress, you need a true representation of how well you are doing. So yeah, I'd love to know, as always, what you think. And thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later.